Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Stream Red. My name is Ken Small and I want to talk in this kind of podcast. It is really mostly a podcast, so if you're looking for too many stuff happening in the background, it doesn't really. So if you're just listening to it, it will be completely fine. But in this podcast, I want to talk about streaming on YouTube because I have been coming to YouTube as a full time streamer about 1.5 weeks ago, and things are different here, but also very similar. So, where do I come from? Who am I? Why should you listen? And why could this be interesting to you? Well, first things first, where do I come from? Who am I? Well, I might look relatively small on YouTube right now, but I have a pretty long streaming history behind me. I was a Mixer partner for 4 years. I have been doing this as a full-time job for 2.5 years on Mixer. I had hundreds and sometimes thousands of people watching at the same time, and I would have still been doing this if Mixer wouldn't have been imploded and Microsoft closed it down. Interestingly enough, the numbers at Mixer were growing every day, and it was really just Microsoft who wanted to get something different out of it. It's much more complicated. I know a lot of people will just think that Mixer didn't have enough viewers, but it is much more complicated than that, and wasn't really the reason why Microsoft closed it. But again, much more complicated and not really the topic today. Now then, I moved to Twitch, became a partner on Twitch, not an affiliate, partner. And I was there for about 3 months. And then I just realized I can't do this anymore. Like streaming on Twitch became horrible. Like it was actually really horrible for me. And like the numbers didn't feel right. I didn't feel welcome on that platform, and I just didn't want it to be there. So I looked for an alternative. And that is actually what I want to talk to about in this podcast is moving to another platform and maybe moving to YouTube. So I have been now a YouTube streamer for 1.5 weeks here on the platform, and I enjoy myself here. Like, it's not really that different than streaming on Twitch, but the numbers have been also good. Like, yeah, like the concurrent viewer numbers on the channel have been a little bit lower than they have been lastly on Twitch. And this is exactly where people will say, see, I knew it. I knew it. You will lose viewers if you leave the platform. Yes. Yes, you will. This is something I have always said, that no matter how many people tell you that no matter where you're going, they will be with you. And they're true. But the problem is, there are always people who will not. They love to stay on the platform and they love to watch you on the platform because they love the platform, the features the platform is offering, and most importantly, the streamers who are supporting each other. Like, I know that people always say that platform loyalty is stupid, and believe me, for a content creator it is, but for a viewer, there are reasons for it. Like, this is the reasons why I mostly did hang out on Mixer. Because I just don't like Twitch. It's just what it is. So when somebody tells me like, no, you have to watch me on Twitch and just ignore the platform, I can't, because the platform is always remembering me why I can't ignore it. So it isn't that easy. But the reality is, whenever you leave a platform, you lose viewers. And you can lose a sizable chunk of viewers. As Ninja, as Shroud. Like, ask every streamer who made a move, well, besides of Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch, right? And he had to go somewhere else, and he moved to YouTube. And believe it or not, he is now drawing more people than ever to his stream, and he became bigger than he was on Twitch. And this is one of the powers of YouTube. And we would definitely talk about that down the line, like what makes YouTube so much more powerful than, let's say, Twitch. But most people who don't want to leave Twitch do that because they look at their numbers, they look at their channel, and they say, it's not really that bad, but it's also not great. But when I leave now, I will lose everything again what I have built for the last year or 2 years or something like that. And the reality is, yes, you will lose stuff. But especially for me, I was just reaching the point where I didn't care anymore, where I was set on, well, I will lose another 5, 6, 7 viewers. But you know what? It doesn't matter at that point anymore. Like, I have basically reached a point on Twitch where it didn't matter anymore. That's how bad it was. And I know that a lot of people are at that point too, where they're still discussing with themselves, pondering basically if they really want to leave or not. And they are afraid to make the jump because they will lose people. And yes, you will lose people. Like, I actually lost some people because they didn't know that I moved. Even though I announced it on Twitter, I announced it on my Discord, I announced it basically everywhere where I could. And people missed it. But they came back. I just put like a different title in my Twitch channel. It was basically informing people, and then some people came back. Some people never will. But the point is, don't be afraid of making the jump when you really have the feeling it cannot get worse. There was again the point I had. There was the point I reached where I just felt it cannot get worse. Like, I might lose some subs because of that. I might lose out some money, but it wouldn't make a difference in the grand scheme. Like, let's say you reached a point, I know it wasn't that bad for me, but let's say you reached a point of, I cannot pay my bills with this anymore. And if I would move the platform, I can even pay less my bills. Well, it doesn't really make a difference anymore, right? When you reach the point where you cannot pay your bills anymore. Like, that is already rock bottom. Or when you feel like I cannot grow anymore, I'm just losing viewers, I'm just losing followers. It doesn't even have to be money. But let's say like you were afraid of losing viewers just for the sake of viewers or followers. The question is, do you grow enough on Twitch or on whatever platform you're on right now? And would a switch justify that loss? I think that is the big question here. Does the switch justify the loss which is about to occur? And in my particular case, the answer was no. Like, even with the loss I probably got from this, it wouldn't justify the fear. Like, it couldn't get worse. So I was just like, okay, well, I take the hit. But in the long run, this is probably helping me more than anything else. And it did. Like, my numbers have been up all the time. Like, I've been checking my numbers for a month now, and they have been just going up. Sure, it's not like I'm drawing in crazy numbers. It's not like I have like hundreds of thousands and thousands. But the good thing is on YouTube, numbers on your videos or viewing numbers are only part of the deal. Like on Twitch, viewers are everything, right? The number is everything. If you have not a high number, that's it. That's the level of exposure you have. On YouTube, it is so much more. On YouTube, sure, your numbers, but the algorithm is taking in so much more into consideration. Your title, your tags, the length of a video, the impression it creates, and then the click-through rate, the likes, the comments. There is so much more, like even some stuff we don't even know about because, well, nobody really knows fully the YouTube algorithm besides of YouTube. Like, even though we have now finally reached a point where we know a lot about the YouTube algorithm, we don't know anything. And there are so many nuances why you were getting supported for some video and then you don't get supported for another is because of the algorithm. And the algorithm can be a very strong weapon in your arsenal. I know that a lot of people are focusing on thumbnails as of late. Let me tell you something. Thumbnails are only half of what people draws to your videos. Like, I've seen like some people doing a lot of thumbnails, which are all the same. You know, when people started with this kind of thumbnail, right? Like, everyone has this shocked face. But the problem is that everyone is doing it by now on YouTube. So the shock effect doesn't really work that much anymore. And I see some people also wondering a little bit about why their videos do not get the views they should get, even though they have this shocking thumbnail, right? Like everybody else has. The thing is, the thumbnail is good for people. Like, when they see your video, there might be a higher chance that they're clicking on it because, you know, interesting thumbnails drawing in the viewers. The problem is here, that is only half of it, because the other half is coming through the algorithm, because the algorithm is showcasing your videos. So it doesn't help if you have the best thumbnail on YouTube, like, period. But nobody is seeing your videos because the algorithm doesn't like your title, doesn't like the words you're using, doesn't like the tags you are using, and so on and so forth. So what I see from a lot of people who are a little bit discouraged by YouTube is that they have great thumbnails, but then you have like titles like playing Among Us with friends. Okay. I mean, duh. You have to offer a little bit more here. That's the point, right? Like, so you have to be a little bit more creative with your titles to actually achieve this. But I see also a lot of people asking like, hey, do I have to do YouTube videos to push my live stream? The answer is no, you don't. Like, if you really just want to do live streams, that's cool. But I recommend to do some videos here and there, because this is also one of the greatest things on YouTube is somebody can find your video, which is months old. Like, I kid you not. I have a video here on YouTube, which is about Black Desert Online, which is like a guide for trading, right? And that thing is still drawing in viewers. That thing is still drawing in comments. 7 years after I created that video, I think it's 6 years now. And it's basically completely outdated, or I think it is. I haven't checked Black Desert in like 6 years, and it's still drawing in people. But the cool thing is, after they're done with this video, they have a chance that your live stream is plopping up, because it's like similar to the game you have made the video about. Like, let's say today, I basically played a role play game today, and Black Desert Online is a role play game. So YouTube is like, hey, you just watched this. That dude is live right now with its live stream. You maybe want to check that out. And of course, the same goes for the live stream. Like, hey, you have now watched this dude for 20 minutes in his live stream. Maybe want to check out all the videos he has? Like, maybe? So, there's definitely a connection between your live streams and the videos you create on YouTube. And I would definitely recommend to make some YouTube videos besides of your live streams. But even if you're just uploading like portions of your live streams again as VODs, it would definitely help. Like, you can just be a live streamer, but let me tell you this, it will make it much more difficult to persuade the algorithm to support you. But that is really the only thing you have to think about when you're moving to YouTube. But my point really is, don't be afraid of moving to YouTube. Like, if you feel like this is really a you thing, if you feel that the platform you are on is a dead end and you have basically tried everything in your power, then maybe you want to take the hit and you want to move the platform. I know it's a frightening perspective. Like, I have lost tons of people by moving away from Mixer to Twitch. And it wasn't even my fault. Like, Twitch closed down, Mixer closed down. Like, it was not like I decided to go to Twitch. I was forced to do it. And I still had people who said, well, then I'm out. I'm not watching anymore. No matter what. Because I watch the platform you are on. I like the platform you're on. I don't like the new platform. But again, and this is the last thing I will say on this, is if you think that the outcome of moving platforms will be, in the long run, be better than what you can do right now on your platform you're on, take that jump. Take that jump. I mean, how bad can it be if you hit rock bottom? Of course, if you were like just growing on the platform you were on and you were happy there, don't switch. Like, at this point, it's really not about the better platform anymore. Like, YouTube has issues, like Twitch has. Like, everyone has their own issues here. Like, Twitch is not like without issues. The same goes with YouTube. I mean, look at the DMCA stuff which is happening on Twitch right now. YouTube had that years ago and they find a way somehow. The same goes, of course, with Facebook gaming and stuff. Like, I made a video like a few weeks back where I called out Facebook gaming as a scam because I truly believe that this platform has so many issues which are not good for content creators. But as long as you're okay with your platform, as long as you're okay with what you are doing on there, stick with it, sure. But if you really have the feeling you need a change of scenery and it will help you in the long run, you should do it. It was frightening for me. Like, I was sitting here for days. I was thinking about it. And the prospect was absolutely frightening to me. But I'm actually glad that I did it. And you should maybe think about it too, if you have second thoughts. All right, that was the first episode of Stream Red. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week with a new episode. We will specify the episodes a little bit more. This was more like a starter episode. So if you're like, okay, this is like a jump between multiple topics, we would definitely be more specific with the upcoming topics. Yeah, for sure. But again, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, Stream Red. See you next time. Bye bye.